Well, good afternoon and evening, everyone. It is Sunday, day 21.
21?
Still relaxing. Feeling a little bit lazy today, if you know what I mean. It's cold and finally wet outside, but there's a possibility we're going to get a sleet/ice storm tonight. So we're going to find out whether or not Buttercup goes to school tomorrow. Pretty sure she will, because it doesn't look like it's going to dip below freezing for too long tonight, and tomorrow is going to be above that. So it's looking relatively good. But yeah, I am feeling quite lazy today. I thought about topics. I thought about the idea of talking about Hazbin Hotel. In fact, I think I will, because Lily and I decided to check out the first 4 episodes that premiered on Amazon Prime Video. There we go. You know, sometimes your brain is just a little bit slow on your lazy days. We checked it out. I will say it was good. It was good. Highly inappropriate, so please don't watch this with your kids. It is not for kids. It's very crass. The animation is definitely not as good as their YouTube pilot, but that's to be expected. I am used to seeing old pilots on TV where the animation is just absolute garbage compared to their actual series. But I guess when it comes to YouTubers doing animation and finally getting a series, when they get their actual streaming or their big, they get signed on to some big network like Amazon, Netflix, or a cable network, it's like the YouTubers, their quality of animation gets downgraded for the networks, is what it seems like to me. But I guess the big thing I wanted to bring up with my, I guess you could say, beef with outrage mobs is that you're seeing that full circle kind of thing where it's like someone has to be pissed off about something at all times, where quote unquote lefties are constantly upset about racism and all these other isms at every turn, and then people flip it around and go so far a different direction where all of a sudden the right's all pissed off because something's from the devil or inappropriate for your kids. So there's what I'm finding is there's no in between. It's hard for me to fully explain verbally out loud to a camera. In my head, it's so easy to think about it to myself. It's like, this is all really stupid. Where you just want to be a regular person in the middle and be like, that's funny, this is stupid, that is stupid, kind of thing, Where people on the left are so easily offended by anything else. Well, really, with either sides of these spectrums, anything that steps slightly outside of their conformity, they're super pissy about. Like sexualization in TV, which it's not for kids. So for that argument, don't show it to kids. I'm fine with that. And if something is racist, don't watch it. It's always super touchy because you want to talk about things like whether or not it's racist or not, and then you realize, this is a topic that's just going to get you in trouble no matter what you do. And that's true. Where I don't even know how I can approach something like that. But what I can say is this show for Hazbin Hotel is definitely on the spectrum of where it goes so far a different direction, where they're saying this isn't for kids, yet somehow with quote unquote right wingers or those who are on the opposite end of the everything is racist spectrum are now seeing it as a religious attack. Like, the argument I saw is that it doesn't portray Satan and biblical teachings well, so it's going to somehow affect how people look at religion, where I'm like, this is just a different take and it's meant to be offensive. It's supposed to be offensive because it is hilariously offensive. Like, there are parts in there that are like, ugh, that's really stupid. But it did make me think that maybe that was the original premise with their pilot to begin with, because I went back after watching the first 4 episodes on Amazon Prime, and I then looked at the pilot again and realized, I think this is what Vizzy Pop was. Is it Vizzy Pop? Yeah, I want to say that's her name. I think that was her plan from the beginning for the plot. There may have been a few adjustments here and there, which I will say, little bummed out about the animation downgrade, but it does make a smoother process with just getting it out there. It's really unfortunate that they took so long, because A21 Pictures took for frickin' ever, and you can't blame the pandemic at this point. That's 4 years behind us now. Well, 3.5, really. It's 3.5 years behind us. Can't blame that anymore. No more excuses, you know? But for a while now, the anti-establishment or right-wingers have been going on about free speech and expression and anti-censorship, and now they're in a tizzy about this show because of religious attacks or it being inappropriate. It's not for kids, but they were going there for a long time. They were going on that comedy is supposed to be offensive, and now they're attacking it. Well, the left's attacking it too for other reasons, like a lot of the original voice cast being, replaced by a lot of A-listers. I mean, come on, Keith David is the voice of the bartender in the series, and don't get me wrong, that was a great choice because it was really fantastic, absolutely amazing to hear Keith David singing at Angel Dust that he's a loser. That was amazing. Okay, I enjoyed seeing that bit. I just get really frustrated with, it's never good enough for anyone kind of thing, where it's like people really want their comedy, so it's like, okay, fine, I'll finally give you comedy. Well, these people are really pissed off about it. Okay, so I'm going to keep going. They say something else and like, oh, now I'm pissed off because you're making fun of the stuff that I care about. Your point being, it's comedy. Comedy's funny and is supposed to be offensive and test your boundaries. If you don't like it, don't get involved in comedy. It's really that simple. And there are a lot of people who really should not be involved in comedy, like activists. Stay in your lane. You're an activist. You're not a comedian. Stay the hell out of it. Chappelle is going to be really offensive. Like, a few of my favorite comedians were also very offensive. I like George Carlin. I love Billy Connolly. I liked Eddie Izzard. He did too much activism stuff, so I'm kind of like, I shy away from it a little bit. And one of my childhood favorites was John Panette, and he's gone. He died doing what he loved. I guess you could say that. But he was absolutely funny. Wouldn't hold the smell test too much in this day and age with the activists, and I understand that. But activists, stay in your lane. Comedy's not for you. Because I'll tell you, activists have to be pissed off about absolutely anything. And once their job is done, they have to find something else. There are a lot of people online who have said it clearer than I can, where it's never enough. But I'd say Hazbin Hotel is a comedy. It's going to be extremely offensive, and that is a great thing. I like dark humor. I like comedy. I like a good laugh, even if it makes me go, ooh, that's a little too far. I understand that. But the golden rule with it, don't show your kids. My kids ain't going to be seeing it. And I'll tell you what, if my daughter my eldest daughter, well, either of my children grow up before there's and start going on about that show before they're allowed to, I'm going to ask, who's showing you this? Because I know for sure it's not myself or Lilia. In the meta of all of it, I started thinking more and more about media, merchandising, and, just overall products. And some people go on about it's the fault of capitalism or it's the fault of activism. And I started to realize something. We had a member berry night a couple months ago, where this was a couple months ago. So Lily and I were drinking one night, and we looked at old music videos. And I started to notice a pattern with even the music videos, and the same holds true today. Like, think about the late 2000s and the early 2010s, where the theme really was, like, especially after the 2008 recession. After that, a lot of it was like gold, glitzy, absolute over-the-top party. I mean, you had LMFAO doing Party Rock Anthem. You had Black Eyed Peas. You had Lady Gaga doing all these very party song music. And everything was very over-the-top glamour, shiny, and just showered with party. 2015 happened. And I'd say that's where the genre shift, because if you notice, all our products around that time revolved around the same kind of stuff. Like, even Xbox parties were so much better at that time. Like forming up a party to just play games on your game systems were a lot better back then. Now they're like so afraid of people grouping up that the major players want to make it more frustrating. And what I've noticed is that around 2015, or really, it wasn't just 2015, the real signs, I'd say, started around like 2013 or after, really, it started after Occupy Wall Street. You'll hear a few people who were there mention the whole introduce them to identity politics thing. But what I noticed is that during that shift, everything became rage, anger, and hate is being sold to us as the product itself. Like, these past 10 years have been nothing but anger and hate. And you see it even in the products we buy. It's like we want to feel good about it, but someone's angry or we're still angry. And there's some kind of hate, like you'll hate this product, so you go and buy it. The music people listen to right now. I don't really listen to music. Like, the only time I even listen to music, I put on what Lilia likes when we're really drunk, which means there's not really going to be any music around because we're not drinking. Oh, I need to just let her listen to music. I try to, but It is like a lot of our music is just angry and sad, like melancholy, I guess you'd say, melancholy or angry. And I'd say we're on the back of that, where the generational genre is starting to shift. Thank God, because what I can say from my observation and just talking to people in town, they're exhausted. They're emotionally exhausted from practically being expected to be angry about something or everything. I think even activists are getting tired of it. Where it's like, okay, we've been angry. What are we angry at now? Walruses? Them and their big ass teeth. Saw them off. Make them seals again. I don't fucking know anymore. Oh, I'm sorry. I was doing so well with not cursing. I apologize. But it's exhausting. It is exhausting to be angry. My concern, though, is that everything we did see the shift a few years ago where everything is going nostalgia. Everything's nostalgia. But I understand that one too, because especially since the majority of the nostalgia stuff revolves around Gen X. The last end, or the back end, and the youngest of the Gen Xers are having or finishing up their midlife crisis, and the eldest and millennials are beginning to start theirs. So it kind of makes sense that nostalgia, being that a lot of the best products that we've seen in generations, minus the Internet of Things. I mean, wow, that makes you wonder what nostalgia is going to be like in the next 30 years. Oh, jeez. Oh, please do not make angry be the nostalgia thing. Although that would also be really hilarious to see a bunch of middle-aged Zoomers being angry that their nostalgia is anger. You poor things, you poor things. Really, I am glad that anger is on the way out, because hate as a product is really tiring, and look at what it's done to everyone around you. My life being terminally online has been a roller coaster over the last 10 years. I'm very glad I walk places instead. Well, I walk to the store, so I still don't get out often enough, but I need to get out more. I think not drinking is helping a little bit with some of this. But, yeah, let's let anger be on the way out. Let's let offensive be funny again. I understand there's still a limit to it. There's limits to everything. There's limits to, we're seeing, there's limits to how angry people can be before they just get tired. Have you noticed that? The more angry you are, when you finally stop, when the anger starts to settle down, you're really, really tired. America is showing how tired it is right now, because it's been exhausting. Yeah, it's long enough rant. Yeah, I know. But if you're, I'll just say this: if you're over 18, by all means, go watch Hazbin Hotel. It is supposed to be offensive, and it's still absolutely hilarious. There are scenes in there, I can't talk about them, especially because it's Angel Dust we're talking about. But seeing and hearing Keith David singing that he's a loser, and I'm talking about Angel Dust being a loser, was amazing. You've got to go see that. Yeah, that's enough chit-chat from me. This is Terra Quator on your Sunday afternoon and evening, depending on where you are. I will see everyone again tomorrow on Monday. Have a good day, everyone.